Well, good morning once again, and welcome to Chatting with Chuck. We're very pleased this morning to have a guest that is right in the season of the season, and that's the Salvation Army. And of course, it is their season, really, not that it doesn't last all year long. Talking with Major Flanagan, and we're going to talk a little bit about all of the activities of the Salvation Army, but we're going to embrace basically on the fact of what they do with the Kittle Drive and at holiday time, and also just a recap of the 125th anniversary. We certainly want to thank a new sponsor aboard, actually two new sponsors that have joined Chatting with Chuck, the Constitution Tribune and Hutchison Company with Allied Insurance. Our other sponsors that have been with us since the beginning, back in July, Century Jeweler, Allstate Insurance, Agent Scott Ellis, Woody's, Bogie Stone, Nico's, Wabash Barbecue, Investors Bank. So with that said, we're going to take a break and recognize some of our sponsors. We'll be back to talk with Major Flanagan about the Salvation Army on Chatting with Chuck in a moment.
It's never happened before. It may never happen again. It's Clark's Furniture's huge pre-holiday private sale. For the first time ever, Clark's private sale goes public. You heard right, but time's running out to save up to 70% off store-wide. This is your golden opportunity to shop some of the most respected names in home furnishings like Flexsteel, La-Z-Boy, Broyhill, Natuzzi, Ashley, Von Bassett, Serta, and others, all at savings of up to 70% off. You'll find a huge selection of reclining furniture on sale, including rockers, wall huggers, heated massage chairs, lift chairs, and more. Reclining sofas start at just $5.99. Save up to 50% on gorgeous dining room groups and save hundreds on best-selling mattress sets by Serta and Tempur-Pedic. Plus, get free box springs, pillows, and blankets. And find huge savings on adjustable bases. Interest-free financing for 3 full years is available. Don't wait. The incredible pre-holiday private sale is coming to an end at Clark's Furniture in Chillicothe.
With the Hy-Vee Fuel Saver Rewards Card, you can save big at the pump. Simply sign up at customer service, then shop our ad for weekly Fuel Saver products. For every one you buy, you'll earn a discount on gas, as much as $2 or more per gallon. Because the more you shop, the more you save. Sign up for the Hy-Vee Fuel Saver Rewards Card at customer service today and start to earn big discounts on gas. Some restrictions apply.
Chatting with Chuck, and just recently, before we do the Kittle Drive, Major, a very, very eventful event for the Salvation Army here in Chillicothe, Livingston County, and Grundy County, in the fact that you celebrated 100, not you, but the organization celebrated 125 years of service. That's fantastic.
It is amazing, Mr. Mayor. We were first started here in the Chillicothe area by some Salvation Army soldiers, which are lay people, members of the Salvation Army Church, which we call a corps. They moved to the Chillicothe area and unofficially started the work of the Salvation Army in 1887. And in May of that year, the first Salvation Army officers were appointed here, a couple of single women, a single woman officer and 2 single women cadets. And the Salvation Army has been going strong ever since.
And you know, you say that about cadets. Since that time, I can recall in past history, there have been some cadets that have served with lieutenants or captains or majors. So it's not really unusual, is it?
No, it isn't. Salvation Army still, the cadets, if anyone's wondering, are the young people or people that are in training to become Salvation Army officers. And a lot of them get experience working in a corps on the field, helping with the work of a Salvation Army in a particular community. And nowadays, a lot of the cadets will come. In fact, they've had cadets here to do special meetings in Chillicothe within the last even, I think, 10, 12 years, a couple of different times, where they come help out with the meetings, help out with some of the Salvation Army's work. So, yeah, that's not an uncommon thing.
And you know, saying that, it's been a while, and I don't know, maybe it has occurred in the past. You might know better than I, but I don't recall 2 majors at the same time. We've had some captains, we've had some lieutenants, but has that happened, or are you aware of it?
The officers that we followed the medlocks for both majors.
They were both majors too, so
Yes,
that maybe is the first time that it's happened here, and actually here it is that it happened back to back. But a lot of the times the people that are assigned, at least here in Chillicothe, have been captains. Am I correct?
Yeah, there've been a lot of captains. Some actually by the rank of lieutenant too, which is the first rank we get out of our training period. The first 5 years of our officership were lieutenants, and then after that 5 years, you get the rank of captain, and you're a captain for 15 more years. And so once you've had 20 years, and then you are moved up to the rank of major.
Well, and of course you've really been able to, you and your wife, to get your feet on the ground here, and you serve. Let's just talk a little bit about who you serve here: Livingston County, Grundy County, Chillicothe, Trenton. Those are the main communities. But there's a lot that goes on within those two counties and those two larger communities, correct?
Oh, yes. We operate a food pantry specifically here in Chillicothe, and we try to work with the food pantry that's in Trenton. There's also a food pantry in Trenton that's operated, not by the Salvation Army, but another agency, and we work together with them. We do our Thanksgiving and Christmas baskets for both the residents of Trenton and Chillicothe. Last year we provided food at Christmas time and Thanksgiving time for, between the two, I'm sure over 100 families in Trenton, and probably more than 400 to 500 here in Chillicothe last year between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Wow.
And we're in the process of taking those applications now for that assistance.
Well, and speaking of that, and then I'll come back to what I was going to ask you, you're saying about taking applications. People that are in need, they want help for them and their family at Thanksgiving and Christmas time. How do they go about that in Livingston and Grundy County?
Well, right now the application process, you need to contact our office, give us a call. Our phone number is 646-3538, or stop in our office at 621 Mohawk Road, and we can get you all the particulars and get you signed up for the assistance that you'll be in need of.
And everybody should know, I would think most people, where the Salvation Army headquarters is here in Chillicothe. Right now, it's easy to find. It's right across from where the steel's going up and the building's going up for the new Hedrick Medical Center, so you're easy to find, right?
Oh, yes, yeah. We're going to be good neighbors with the new hospital being built. So if we're right on that corner, I believe it's 190, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
Washington Street. So we're right kind of set back a little off the highway, little brick building, and you'll be able to see our lighted sign out in the front, and there's a banner up right now in the front of our building, so you'll be able to tell where we are.
Well, I had the opportunity to be there last week, and you kicked off your Kittle Drive, and we want to talk about that and what's involved in that, what that money goes for. But I wanted to ask you, you said over 400 families here and around 100 in the Grundy County or Trenton area. That's amazing, but I know there's also two food pantries here in Chillicothe, and it's a wonderful thing that we have those two organizations and have now a boost, I would say, to the Salvation Army to help feed the needy and the poor.
Yes, it's a need that just isn't going away. There's a lot of people out there in need, and we do work together with the other agencies in the area to try to provide food. Our food pantry operates year-round. That's not something we do seasonal, but we do that year-round. And when funds are available, we do also try to work with Operation Help as well to provide when people need help with like utilities and rent, some emergency lodging as well in case of some type of an emergency. So there's a host of different things we do, and we do work with the other groups in town. The need is great, and we know that no one agency can do it all, and it's important for all of us to really work together.
Well, and it really is, and you mentioned Operation Help, another great assistance program here in Livingston County that has a wonderful need and is really used, and we are so fortunate, just like we are with so many other things in our community and area, to have such organizations. I can remember a time where the Salvation Army was it. I mean, somebody that was a homeless person that was coming through, they ran out of gas, they ran out of money, they had no lodging or what. The Salvation Army was the only outlet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a lot of the smaller communities, we find that's true. So we do our best to, with the resources available, to reach out and meet the need of folks that are in need. And when there are other agencies, we try to work together with them to kind of strengthen the service in town so that everybody can do the best that they can.
And, I want to also just touch on the 125th last week. It was a wonderful ceremony out to the Salvation Army headquarters. You had some of your officials here from St. Louis that were guests during the day, and the Chamber of Commerce came out. You had a ribbon cutting and a proclamation that was read and officially marked the 125th anniversary. But, as I mentioned at that time, I was just amazed. The Salvation Army, I've been around here a long time, not as long as the Salvation Army, but I was amazed that it had been 125 years since it had been established. And the other fact that really kind of startled me a little bit is that you've only during that time had 4 locations, and the one where you were the longest was over on 449 Elm before you moved to your new headquarters out at Mohawk and 190. So it's been a great and a long stay, and one that we hope goes another 125 years, right?
Oh, we sure do too, and we are very thankful for the good support of the community. That's the only reason we could be here for 125 years, and we're looking forward to another good 125 years to serve in the area here at Livingston and Grundy counties to do the best we can.
Talking about some of the services beyond what you have just mentioned, that you have, and I want to save the Kittle Drive till the very end, because it was kind of a special time with the kickoff today, or rather last week, and some of the things that I've seen yesterday and today, and the Kittle's already out there, and volunteers ringing it, and a special contest that's coming about. And I want to talk about all of those here in just a few minutes when we come back, and talk about services, then the Kittle Drive, and how important that is during the months of November and December to not only the Salvation Army, but all the people that you all serve, and the fact of how many people are served by that program. Stay with us here on Chatting with Chuck. We'll pause to hear a word or two from our very fine sponsors, and we'll be back with you in just a few minutes.
Hello, this is Nicole at Cross Connections Computer Essentials. Are you tired of driving all the way to the city for those computer parts that you just cannot find locally? Well, you don't have to anymore. We carry many computer parts and accessories that others do not. Also, with our speedy shipping service, we can order almost any computer part or accessory and have it here for you in 2 days. We also specialize in PC and laptop repair, networking, and repair of handheld devices such as iPads, iPods, iPhones, and most Android tablets and cell phones. So stop by today at 721 Webster Street on the north side of the square in Chillicothe. Cross Connections Computer Essentials, your hometown computer store.
Jill and Daryl of Essential Needs Day Spa and Cafe, located in downtown Chillicothe, invite you to stop by for great food and to experience their variety of great services. Jill and her staff offer 30 and 60-minute massages and beauty services like hair coloring and styling, as well as pedicures and manicures. Daryl offers some of the greatest food in town with an extensive menu that includes breakfast served all day. Just stop by today at Essential Needs Day Spa and Cafe, located in downtown Chillicothe on the east side of the square.
And Major Flanagan is our guest here today. In case you just joined us, let's talk a little bit before we get to the Kittle Drive about all the services. I was just amazed when I was working with my assistant to work on the proclamation. The things that the Salvation Army does goes far beyond food for the needy or what you do in the Kittle Drive.
Yes, the Salvation Army, over the course of time, has served not only to help with social service needs as well, as you said, with helping with food, with clothing. If somebody's in need of clothing and household goods and can't afford it, we do provide those through our thrift store as well, and the community supports that. We provide a host of social services, but the Salvation Army is also a church, a place of worship, and we do hold Sunday morning worship services every Sunday. We have a Sunday school that starts at 9:45 and a morning worship service at 11. And then you have a really informal kind of time on Sunday night at 5 p.m. kind of gathering of our church people. And we also, with that, offer a women's group that meets as part of the church. We have adult meetings for men. We have children's meetings, and the Salvation Army in the Midland Division, which basically consists of Missouri and part of Illinois, we operate a camp as well. And we provide a summer youth camp experience for kids, and also there are camps for adults as well that the Salvation Army provides. Spiritual counseling. We try to just reach out and try to meet the whole need. We know that when a person is hurting physically, that also affects the spirit as well, and we try to do our best to serve there as well.
Well, and I think sometimes that because of all of the things the Salvation Army does and the services you are involved in, sometimes you tend to, it seems like that people tend to forget, okay, hey, we're also a church, and we serve the adults, we serve the youth, and as you said, spiritual counseling and things like that. So that's important too.
Oh, yes. It's a very important aspect. In fact, the Salvation Army started its work, honestly, as a Christian mission. That was our initial first name, was the Christian Mission. And then as the movement began to grow, our founder, William Booth, who was originally a Methodist minister, changed the name to the Salvation Army for the size of it, and the fact that the overriding reason we do the things we do is that our love for God, and we want to preach about salvation through Jesus Christ.
You know, and some of the things, I'm looking at your emergency disaster services shirt and I think of the what's going on and what has been going on out with Sandy, the after effects of Sandy, and the work of the American Red Cross and the Salvation Army and organizations like that. It's just fantastic that we have those groups that can come to the aid of those people.
Yes, in a time of natural disaster, that's a real crisis. Many times people are in a situation where within the area that's affected there is no other help. And the Salvation Army is committed to reaching out to provide help. The Salvation Army has been active in working with the residents of New York and the other areas, New Jersey, that were affected by Sandy, in providing food to help work with lodging to meet the needs of whatever the need might be. And the Salvation Army has traditionally done this. I have served myself in many different types of things. I've served at plane crashes, floods, fires. I served for 3 weeks in New York after the 9/11 incident. Many different types of things, and we realize that that's a time when people are really vulnerable and need help, and to the best of our ability we want to reach out to them and provide service to help them through that awful time of crisis. We don't like to look at people anymore as just victims of a disaster. We want to see them as people who have come through them and are survivors and who are victors over these horrible crises that come their way.
And I imagine, not knowing until you mentioned it, that you have served in those areas, including 9/11, that there's many stories that you could tell that are heartbreaking stories and horror-type stories. But again, back to the people, that the first responders, the Salvation Army, the American Red Cross, the people that respond to those type of emergencies. And it just seems like you go back to 9/11 and come forward, and we think of the hurricanes and the flooding and everything that's happened in the last few years. There's really been it just seems like more of a need than ever before.
Oh, it just seems like for the last more than 10 years there have been so many natural disasters that it seems like we're always somewhere doing something to help with a recovery from a disaster of some sort. And because of that, we know the need is great, and again, we try to work with all the other agencies providing assistance, because it's just something we're not seeing going away anymore.
Oh, absolutely not. So, well, the need is there, and fortunately we do have organizations and people like you and yours to help in that type of service. Now let's talk a little bit about an important thing. Probably, you know, I think maybe that one thing that the Salvation Army is known for, and we've mentioned all the things that they do and all the services they're involved in, and how they can help people. But the thing that you always remember from childhood up, it seems like, is the kettles, the red kettles, and the bell ringing.
Oh, the red kettle is a real, you say, a good American tradition here. It actually started out on the West Coast in the California area back in the early 1800s when the Salvation Army was just starting here in America, and a Corps officer in I believe it was the San Diego area wanted to do a Christmas dinner for some hungry poor people, and he put a pot out on the wharf and put a sign on the top of it that said, "Help keep the pot boiling to feed the hungry." And he did so well in raising money to help provide a Christmas dinner that soon it began to spread to other places, and it kind of evolved into the Red Kettle Drive that you see today. It's probably the greatest of our fund drives that we do here in Chillicothe, and probably in many places across the country as well. And it can only be accomplished by the good support of the community.
Well, and that's an interesting story. I did not know how all of it got started, but you know, to hear, you know, to me, I really enjoy ringing the bell, and we have some competition we're going to talk about in a little bit between the city and the county, and I know there are a lot of service clubs, including the Rotary and Kiwanis and what, that have rang the bell for years and years and years. But it is a special program that people can be involved in, and it doesn't make any difference whether they drop a quarter in, they drop a $5 bill, but you got a wonderful kickoff last week during your 125th. I remember 3 checks that you told us, the general public and the chamber, about at that ceremony. One of them was a $500 check.
Yes.
That's an interesting story. Tell us.
Oh, yes. Well, we had gotten a contact from the Women's Correctional Center, and they have a group that got together, and they raised $500. It was money raised by women out at their correctional center, and they wanted to give us a good kickoff to our Christmas drive. They were very eager to support the work of the Army here, and so they had a representative bring the check over, and then they were able to put it in the kettle as our first, you might say, like corporate donation to get us started. And then along with that, we had some other donors in the community who weren't able to make it to the 125th kickoff but wanted us to put their checks in as well. And although this is something that happened since then that you didn't know about, we had another donor contact us and say they had another $100 to add to it. So actually on the kickoff day, we wound up getting a total of $760 to kick us off that very first day. And with the money from the kettles on the first night of kettles, because our kettles went out for half a day that day, and with the money from the first kettles and the money we got on the kickoff, we brought in over $900 on the first day, which honestly is more money than we made in the first week last year of kettles.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And so it was a tremendous kickoff, and we are so thankful to the community for that good support. And our kettles are out now on this, being manned by volunteers, and of course when we don't have enough volunteers, we do have a few paid people, but we try to use as many volunteers as possible so that we can put the money back into the community, because the money we raise goes toward the programs that the Salvation Army provides, not only in the holidays but for our year-round expenses as well, to support the good work that we do here in the community.
Well, we need some more organizations to step up. It sounds like to me, Major Flanagan, like the folks at the Chillicothe Correctional Center, the workers out there that gathered in and brought in almost, did bring in half of what you took in the first day. So what a great kickoff, and it's going to go on for how long with the kettle ringing at various locations in Chillicothe? What's the final date?
Well, the final date, we will stop ringing at Christmas Eve. Oh, probably we stop between 2 and 3 so that those that are ringing have time to get home and relax and be with their families for Christmas Eve. We do have the bells out on the street with the kettles ringing Monday through Saturday. We don't do any ringing on Sunday. We like to let people have that good day of rest. You know,
Sure.
Good Lord said 6 days labor and on the 7th rest, so we want to give our bell ringers that day of rest as well. But we'll be operating those days. The kettles are normally manned from 10 to 6 o'clock, and then as we get closer to Christmas, we'll be out from 10 a.m. until about 8 p.m.
And you ring. There's some major locations: Hy-Vee, Piggly Wiggly,
Yes.
Walmart. Those
Yes.
are the major ones, right?
Yes, we have
In Chillicothe.
In Chillicothe, we have the 2 kettles at Walmart. They go out the day after Thanksgiving, but the ones at Piggly Wiggly and Hy-Vee here in Chillicothe are out now. They're operating now. And then we have 2 kettles in Trenton as well, one at the Shopco and one at the Hy-Vee in Trenton. And those are also in operation now as well, too.
And this is the main artery, so to speak, of feeding people and providing Thanksgiving and Christmas meals, basically from the Kittle Fund. Now, as you mentioned, it's used for other things, but isn't that the major portion?
Yes, the funds that we raise at this time, first of all, go to help us pay for the cost of providing all of the food and toys. We do a toy drive. We get toys donated from the trees supported by the Walmart store, and then if we come up short, we will purchase toys. But basically it provides us with the food for the Thanksgiving and Christmas baskets that we do, and then our year-round support. It's the largest fund drive that we do. And last year, in just the kettles alone for the total year, we raised $29,300 in the kettles last year.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
We are looking a little bit with anticipation, even though times are tough. We've set a goal for this year for the kettles of $32,000. And we'll be ringing through Christmas Eve, and the good support of the community makes this possible.
Well, and if people are interested, other organizations and groups, and I know you already have a number that you've contacted, and do it on a regular basis, and you've had some individuals that just come in and join and always do every year and ring the bell and try to raise money at the Kittles. But if some group or organization or a particular group like the Chillicothe Correctional Center is interested in doing so, who do they contact, and what's the number, and how do they get a hold of you all?
They would call our office again at the number. It's 646-3538, and either ask for myself, Major John Flanagan, or my wife, Major Faye Flanagan. And of course, if we happen to be out of the office doing some Christmas work, our receptionist also has the scheduling book and can schedule in volunteers as well. And of course, we can always use more volunteers to help. And if a person can only give an hour or two or whatever time, we'll work that into the schedule. We do appreciate the good support of the volunteers of the community.
That number again, and I know it's going to go up on the screen so that people can see it, is
646-3538.
So that's the number to call if you want to help ring the bell at the Kittles. We're going to take our final break here on Chatting with Chuck, and we'll be back to talk about another important segment of the Salvation Army, the Food for the Needy program.
Wow! This is Brent Klein, owner of the New Woody's Automotive Group in Chillicothe. Over the past few months, our customers have been giving testimony over the radio, bragging about their wow experience at the New Woody's. The bottom line is that 99.8% of our customers expressed tremendous satisfaction with the price, selection, and treatment. Our customers were wowed because we give our best price up front, the same price, on the net and the car, trade or not, third-party verified to be among the lowest in the nation with no hidden tacked-on fees. The New Woody's Automotive Group in Chillicothe. Wow!
Like what you hear? Go to wowwoodies.com.
This year, wrap up your holidays in an unforgettable way. Indulge your loved ones with jewelry as unique as she is, with gorgeous gold and exquisite diamonds in the latest fashions. It's nearly impossible to go wrong. From classic to modern, there are options for every style. She'll be enraptured by these timeless and colorful creations that are as affordable as they are beautiful. Let yourself get wrapped up in the spirit of the holidays with sensationally crafted jewelry from Lawhoff Jewelry and Gifts in Chillicothe and Trenton.
Piggly Wiggly is proud to be your locally owned hometown grocer, which means it's the only grocery store where the money spent in the store actually stays in the community. Featuring the best meat department in the area, where all the beef and pork is raised in the USA and cut and packaged right in the store. Piggly Wiggly Deli features delicious favorites like Champ's Chicken or Jack's Tenderloins. Dine in or carry out, lunch or dinner. Also available for catering any size with any menu. Book your next event through our deli department. Stop by Piggly Wiggly today for fast, convenient grocery shopping, exceptional meat quality, and down-home friendly folks. Support hometown, support Piggly Wiggly.
Back with Chatting with Chuck, Major Flanagan. One final part that we want to discuss, and a very important one. We talked about feeding people at Thanksgiving and Christmas time beyond the money from the Kittles and your regular holiday campaign. That's the Food for the Needy program that started back, as I recall, in the 70s. It mainly involves the Salvation Army, obviously, the Constitution Tribune, Hy-Vee and Piggly Wiggly, and you bring out the big bins, and people can drop groceries in there, the non-perishable type, obviously, and those are taken to your food pantry and used. And this is a big part of your holiday feeding program, I guess I could call that, by using the food for the needy, and how people can help and drop it in the bins and what it goes for. Can you tell us?
Yes, the Constitution Tribune and Hy-Vee and Piggly Wiggly, as you said, sponsor this great food drive. And when the food drive is started, there'll be bins put out at all 3 locations, and people can drop groceries into those bins. They are then brought to the Salvation Army. We count them up so we know what the count of cans is. Last year, I believe we had like 1,200 cans of food that were, or more than that, even collected than that. And it makes a big help for us as we not only feed at Thanksgiving and Christmas, but of course we have our food pantry year-round too. So all of this goes into making sure we keep people fed in the community. It's a great drive, and the community has supported it well. And although it's not associated right with the Food for the Needy, the Grand River Technical College has done food drives for us in the past too, and they bring in a lot of food as well too that kind of supplements and helps us along that as well. But the Food for the Needy is a tremendous effort, and we're very thankful for it. And if I might just one more quick little thing, I want to thank the Freedom of the Road Riders motorcycle group. They got together with the Christian Motorcycle Association this year. Last year they did it on their own, but this year they got together and did a toy drive. They've done a toy drive for us for several years now. And just a week or so back, they brought in 325 toys and probably 50 or 60 pounds of canned food as well to kind of give us a good start on toys. Last year at Christmas, we gave toys out to more than 600 children in Livingston and Grundy counties, and we're probably looking at doing that again as well too as part of our Christmas drive.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned them, and they really look forward to that and do a fantastic job with it. So, overall, you have a goal of raising money for what you use for not only at the holiday, at Thanksgiving and Christmas time, but also throughout the year, whether it be the food pantry or other needs of the Salvation Army. What did you take in last year total, and what's the goal for this year?
Last year, our Christmas kettles brought in about $29,300, and we do a mail appeal with that as well. That's the other part of our Christmas drive, and that brought in last year $43,200. Which brought us to $72,500 approximately is what we actually raised last year. And it was only through the good, generous support of the community. This year, we're looking at a kettle goal of $32,000, and we're looking at a mail appeal goal of $42,000 for a grand total this year of $74,000. So we're shooting to raise about $2,000 more than last year.
Let's hope you not only reach it, but you top that goal, Major.
We're looking forward to doing that. We sure hope and pray we do. And just want to say thanks to all the community that support us. We can't do it without you.
Well, again, thank you for taking time from your schedule to be with us here on Chatting with Chuck, to talk about a very important organization in our community and a very important campaign that goes 365 days of the year, and that is the Salvation Army. We invite you to join us again each and every Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock for Chatting with Chuck. Again, thanks to all of our fine sponsors. Thank you, Major, for being here and being a part of this program.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for having me. And again, I want to say thanks to this community. You've supported the Salvation Army so well over the last 125 years, and we're looking forward to a good, bright future.
Talk with you next Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock on Chatting with Chuck.